I'm Larry Menti. Welcome back to the Delaware Way. We're with DelDOT Secretary Shailen Bhatt. When we left, we were talking about how some people don't want to pay for infrastructure and transportation because they think it's just more government spending. And you eloquently went through all the benefits and the fact that we do need infrastructure to be a state in the forefront and a nation in the forefront of the world. But also, all transportation bills, aren't they necessarily jobs bills?
If you look at infrastructure spending, there's two things that you get. One, you get the finished product. So you get the overfly ramps at the mall, or you get a new bridge, or you get a road that has been redone. So you get that, but you also get the jobs that are associated with it, right? So you get the workers who come out, and these are
they're
good paying
substantial.
jobs.
What are you talking about? Like how many people how many people right now do you have working on projects in the state? Do you have any idea?
I don't have any idea. I can get that number. I don't know off the top of my head. But I think when I was at the Federal Highway Administration, it was like every $1 billion of investment produces like 28,000 jobs, both induced and direct. And so there's thousands of people who can go to work and then they learn skills, and then on top of that, when they're done that work, you have this important piece of infrastructure that then in turn boosts the economy and creates, so it's a positive feedback loop that I think that a lot of people get. It used to be they'd say things like there's no Democratic roads or Republican bridges, but again, everything has become very politicized at all levels now.
It all depends on who's in charge at the time.
Right.
And who fights it. I want to get back to something you said about some of the projects that have been moved up. You mentioned I-95, and some of the bridges on I-95 have to be. Are they all bridges or roadway as well?
No, it's actually the bridges on 95 that we are concerned about, simply because they are getting to the to that age where you've got to put significant investment into them.
And you're concerned about them enough that you've moved them up in the timetable. So you said 2018 now?
Right, 2018 is when we'd be looking at doing a lot of major repair work on a lot of these bridges here in Delaware.
You know, as soon as you talk about construction on I-95, motorists immediately, because it is the major thoroughfare in Delaware? It has to be.
Oh, absolutely.
The most traveled. So all of these commuters are now thinking, oh no, in a couple of years I'm going to be dealing with this headache. Will it be a major headache for those commuters? Do you have contingency plans already in place? And how long do you think these projects are going to be? Are you going to stagger them?
Yeah, and so that'll be something that we could do a number of things. I mean, one, from a contracting standpoint, it might make sense from a taxpayer perspective to bundle them all together and just go one by one, so you get a bid on all of the bridges. Right, we'll have to look at that, or maybe we break them out individually. That'll have to be determined as we go through it. I think that from a MOT or maintenance of traffic standpoint, I think that a lot of night work will be necessary. I mean, the key is that the transportation system works great for about 16 hours of the day. It's the 8 hours of peak time where everybody wants to be on the road at that time that is what is killer. And so for us, I think we want to break it down, do a lot of night work. Minimize the number of closures, but there are certain times you're just going to have to do a closure, and that's, we'll get through that.
Now, you're a biker, you were telling me.
I have done some cycling.
When I talk about, I shouldn't say biker, people think that you're in the Hells Angels or something like that.
My leathers off stage.
No, and I saw that the governor has an initiative to try to make Delaware the #1 bicycling state in the union. Is that doable?
It's an aggressive goal. But we've gone from number 31 to number 4 in terms of bicycle-friendly states.
How do they rank that?
I don't know. I know our process for prioritization is very data-driven. I don't know how they do theirs. But I think it's a mixture of investments and awareness and how you're obligating your dollars and spending your money. So, Look, I'm very proud every time that we've been able to move up the ranks, but there's a lot of competition. People want to knock us back.
But there is an investment. It does take some money, and it's bike trails, right? So
yes.
you are aggressively putting in bike trails? Is that fair
I would
to
say that we are doing much more than we've ever done before. And if you look at, for example, the C&D Canal, so we've put in a trail along the C&D Canal. Probably by the end of 2015, it's going to stretch from Chesapeake City to Delaware City, where you're going to be able to bike that entire length and come back. And we've got trail counters out there with like infrared detection of when people are out there. There are thousands of people using that trail. We have another project to the industrial track. So right now you can bike through the riverfront, but you can't get across the Christina to get down to Newcastle. We've got a trail to put a bridge across that's going to bridge across the Christina, open that back up. That'll actually be a commuting option for people. So there are people who would actually be able to bike into Wilmington. And some people may scoff, well, nobody would do that. You'd be surprised when you create these, people will get on a bike and then they don't have to sit in traffic on 95 right about the time that we're working on those bridges.
The gas tax, the increase in the gas tax, is it dead now, or is they going to take another run at it?
One thing I want to be very clear on is that when I became secretary, we owed $1.2 billion as an agency. On July 1st of last year, we've got that down to $847 million. So DelDOT as an agency has reduced our debt by about 30% in the last 3 years. That's huge. What it has done is it's freed up about $30 million a year that was going to our credit card payment that is now available for other projects.
That's great. So why do you need a gas tax?
Well, that's the equivalent of a 6-cent gas tax increase, but it just goes to show you how dire the financial straits of the agency are from a capital perspective. We don't have, so yeah, if we were allowed to just continue to run down our debt and we didn't have these other projects cropping up, eventually that would work out, but it doesn't, that's not the way the math works.
So you were telling me you have a little girl now, 11 months old?
Yes, 11 months old.
Congratulations. When's the 1-year birthday party?
November 1st. November 1st, and we've decided to throw a party for her, and we're going to get some sleep.
Oh, good. I think 1-year-old, you're not going to get any sleep.
Yeah,
Believe
that's
me,
right.
not yet. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.